This person will decide how you live. He could erase the governments, make every army in the world pointless. He could destroy the economy or build a new one where money does not matter anymore. Sounds like a sci-fi? But this is not a movie. It's a logic of what might happen when AGI appeals. Artificial intelligence that's smarter than any human, and whoever builds it first will become the most powerful person on the planet, because their intelligence will control all the others. For centuries, humanity had three kinds of power: political, held by rulers; economic, by billionaires; and informational, by those who control the media. But right now, a fourth kind is being born: intellectual power. And this one is stronger than all the rest. Because if your AI can think, create, and predict than any human, then you basically control humanity itself. If this one is a poker game, the price on a table is the biggest on a human history. That's why today countries are racing, corporations are fighting quiet wars, and billionaires are pouring in trillions, all to be the first to create AGI. Now in this race, there are already a few people who could become the new rulers of the world. Who are they? What do they want? What do they believe in? And what happens to the world if one of them wins? Because once you understand this person, you start to understand what our future will look like. Their values will share what their AI learns and what priorities they build into the system. This is an investigation about the people who control artificial intelligence and maybe already controlling everything else. So, who is the most powerful person in AI? Let's see. To understand why everyone racing to build powerful AI, you first need to get what a decision loop is. It was invented by an American military strategist, Joy Boyd, one of the best pilots in the United States Air Force. He noticed that in the air fight, the winners isn't the one with the fastest jet, but the one who makes decisions faster. Boyd broke it down into the 4 steps and called it OODA: loop, observe, orient, decide, and act. While your opponent is still figuring out what just happened, you already moving, and their whole plan falls apart. Later, this idea spread far beyond the military, into economics, politics, and business. Now AI shortens that same decision loop: observe, orient, decide, act, hundreds of times over. What used to take weeks now happens in minutes, and that gives a huge advantage. In politics, the winner is the one who understands what's going on first. AI analyzes information streams, news, public mood, and the economy. With this, governments can stop problems before they even make it to the headlines. This is already happening. Some governments are testing systems that simulates the effect of news laws or manage budgets in real time. In September 2025, Albania announced the appointment of the first AI minister. They call it Daila, and her job to fight corruption and gradually take over the other parts of processes. This is the first experiment of this kind on the national level. In the stock market, AI is already part of daily life. Algorithmic funds make thousands of trades every second, catching tiny price swings before the human analysis even notices them. AI scans news, social media posts, and the company reports, letting traders act fractions of seconds faster than their competitors. But even 0.1 edge in the predictions can turn into billions in profit. Here is the live experiment when the smartest AI models were each given 10K and access to crypto trading. In science, the decision loop has turned into the conveyor belt of discoveries. AI system tests billions of combinations of molecules, materials, design new drugs, discover catalysts, and create new energy sources. Everyone knows AlphaFold, the neural network that solved a problem scientists had been struggling with it within 50 years. It predicted how proteins fold. Systems like that are already spreading up in the creation of vaccines, solar panels, batteries, pretty much everything. And now, imagine this. All these tools ended up in the hands of one company, one person. That's why the AI world is so intense right now. full of hype, drama, hidden battles, and of course, huge money. Back in the 2000s, no one in those university labs, professor or students, could imagine that their small experiments to understand how our brain works would kick off a global AI revolution. And if you put it poetically, this revolution had three fathers and a whole generation of their kids who learned from them, argument with them, and later built today's giant AI companies. The first father is Geoffrey Hinton. In his Toronto lab in 2012, a real breakthrough happened, the one that started the modern AI era. His students, Ilya Sutskever and Alex Kryzhowski, created a neural network called AlexNet, which unexpectedly beat everyone's at the ImageNet competition. For the first time, the computer could see the world almost like a human, and that changed everything. Hinton was Sutskever mentor, and later Sutskever became one of the co-founders of OpenAI, along with Sam Altman. But more on that later. The second father, Joshua Bengio, he founded Mila, a real incubator for young researchers. That's where Ian Goodfellow made his mark, the guy who came up with the GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks, the very tech behind modern generative AI. Bengio raised a whole generation of scientists, people you may not know the name, but they become the core engineers and researchers behind the world's most successful AI teams. Many of them later joined the labs like Anthropic, where safety and ethics are valued more than commercial gain. The third father is Yann LeCun. He helped create convolutional neural networks, the architecture that made machine vision possible. LeCun was Hinton's colleague, but went other way. He believes science should stay open, and today he is a chief AI scientist at Meta and one of the main voices for the open source movement. These three scientists, Hinton, Bengio, and LeCun, gave the world everything we now call artificial intelligence. Almost every key figure in today's AI industry, Altman, Sutskever, Amadei, Hassabis, either studied under them, worked with them, or built on their research. And the same debates that once happened between professors and their students are now happening between corporations worth trillions. And here's the thing, all three fathers are now calling for caution. They believe AI should be developed carefully, maybe even slow down a bit. But their students, they are not stopping. And from those roots, those arguments, and that clash of the worldviews came the first big split in the AI world. That one that ran right through OpenAI in November 2023. It was the first real earthquake in the world of artificial intelligence. On the surface, it looked like management crisis. OpenAI's board of directors fired the company's CEO, Sam Altman. But in reality, it was movement when all hidden tensions inside of the AI industry finally broke out. And to understand how big it was, you need to remember how OpenAI was built in the first place. The company in the first place started as a non-profit. Its goal was to make artificial intelligence safe and available for everyone. It sounded almost utopian, the smartest people on the planet working together to build a shared artificial mind and making sure it wouldn't harm humanity. But over time, billions started moving around OpenAI. First came the commercial side, then investors, then Microsoft. And what began as a lab with altruistic mission slowly turned into the business, with profits, valuations, corporate interest, and exclusive contracts. So by 2023, all the pressure reached a boiling point. The board accused Altman of being not fully transparent and moving too fast, ignoring safety concerns. The accusations were vague, but the real issue was simple. Some thought OpenAI was spreading towards superintelligence with no brakes. Others thought the brakes were the problem. Within hours, the company was on the edge of collapse. Almost every employee signed a letter saying that they will leave with Altman. The board lasted less than a week. Under the pressure from employees, investors, and the press, Altman was brought back. But he came back as a different man. Not the idealist he once seemed, but strategist with a near total control. That crisis was the moment when the OpenAI fully transformed from the scientist project into the corporation, one that now plays by the role of business. At that moment, many engineers, researchers, scientists, and investors had to pick up the side to decide which path of the AI development they believe in. The brother and the sister Amadeus, who founded Anthropic and built the model Claude, were former OpenAI employees who left because of disagreement over safety. One of the OpenAI's co-founders and its chief scientist, Ilya Sutskever, also left soon after Almond returned. He started his own lab, Safe Superintelligence, an attempt to get back to the OpenAI original idea, building superintelligence without commercial pressure, something safe by design and useful for all the humanity. Dozens of engineers and scientists left OpenAI to Meta, Google, and xAI. And that's how philosophical divide appeared inside the whole AI world. It's not just competition between companies, it's a clash of the world views. Speed, VC, safety. Open source, VC, closed system. Mission, VC, profit. And now the question isn't who is right. Which of these philosophies will survive? So who is winning? Here is what the balance of power in the AI industry looks like right now. There are few key centers of influence, a few alliances. The first and the most powerful alliance right now is OpenAI, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Oracle. These four companies basically control everything modern AI runs on. OpenAI, the brain that creates the models, Microsoft, the wallet and distributor, NVIDIA, the muscles, controlling 90% of all GPUs in the world, and Oracle, their cloud support providing the computing power. Look at this chart. It shows how money moves and circulates across the AI industry. The four biggest money streams all belong to these aliens. But how did they pull it off? They managed to create a unique situation on the market, a real economic phenomenon called circular financing. Money keeps moving into the loop between the biggest players who invest in each other's while also being each other's clients. Simply put, these companies are buying from themselves, a billion-dollar loop of nature. Here is one recent example. NVIDIA invests in OpenAI, the money goes to Oracle. The Oracle buy GPUs, goes to NVIDIA. The money probably never even leaves their accounts, but the news alone pumped up their stock prices, boosting their values, their weight, and therefore their influence. Larry Ellison from Oracle even briefly cut with Elon Musk on the list of the world's richest people. The second alliance, Anthropic, Amazon, Google. This is the camp on the other side of the split, the one that says safety first. Brothers and sister Amadeus founded Anthropic and built the model Claude. They prompted the idea of constitutional AI that learns from principles, not just data. And they're doing pretty well. Their models are almost always near the top of every benchmark. They are reliable, and they have become the real alternative to ChatGPT. That's exactly why they caught the attention of the two giants. Amazon invested $8 billion and made Anthropic main partner for AWS. Google added another $3 billion and became another provider for Claude. Dario Amodei, while he seems more like a brilliant developer than the business shark, still has every chance to take the pot, thanks to a very interesting idea that I will get back later. The third power center is Meta and the open source labs, led by Jan LeCun. The open source approach is when the model's code is shared publicly. And this is not just economic move to lower market prices and disrupt competitors' business models. It's also the ideology, freedom of the code versus corporate secrecy. LeCun, the same founding father and now Meta chief scientist, believes that the closed systems slow down the progress. And his philosophy has massive support. Hundreds of millions of Llama downloads and the whole army of independent developers behind it. The fourth power is the Google DeepMind. Google remains the most self-sufficient player in the game. They have everything on their own: custom TPU processors, deep scientific research, massive datasets, and of course, global distribution through Google Cloud, their cloud platform. DeepMind is a quiet giant, not as loud as OpenAI, but speedily moving towards its goal to create superintelligence. And they've got a real shot at this. Their Gemini models is just another step in that direction. And finally, the fifth power, or a pole of influence, is XAI, Elon Musk's company. Like Google, XAI develops independently, and Musk spares no expenses on his project. He keeps his distance from everyone else and does not care about short-term results. His goal is superintelligence. It's telling that most of every model updates and releases quietly without big pretensions. Musk is the main critic of OpenAI. He keeps hitting the company with lawsuits and has no intention of accepting the growing dominance of the first alliance. This fierce battle going on between all of them. What's happening right now really looks like a poker game. And just like in any game, the one with the strongest card wins. The first card, hardware, and this one's in the hands of Jensen Huang, the head of NVIDIA. How did they happen? To train neural networks, you need to process billions of data points and perform trillions of operations. That's an insane amount of computation, and it's the most expensive part of the whole AI industry. To do these computations, you need chips, graphic cards. Originally, the most powerful GPUs were built for gaming. That's why they call graphic cards. They process image to make visuals smoother on the screen, and NVIDIA was great at that. But suddenly, it turns out that those same GPUs were perfect to AI. They can run thousands of identical operations at the same time. Exactly what needed to train neural networks. Jensen Huang was in the right place at the right time. When the AI boom began, it turns out that his GPUs were the best tools for training them, and Huang became the center of the entire industry. Today, NVIDIA controls over 90% of global AI chips market. Every major AI project runs on their hardware. At the same time, the production cost of one chip is several times lower than its market price. A profit margin reached 80%, which is why analysts call it tax on AI. And the one collecting that is Jensen Huang. In just the past year, the company made over 70 billion in the net profit. That's why today Microsoft, Google, Meta, and Amazon are all trying to design their own chips, hoping to take that card away from the Huang. But so far, their results are far from perfect. The second card is infrastructure, and it's in the hands of Satya Nadella, the head of Microsoft. In November 2023, with OpenAI almost fell apart, Microsoft, their closest and key partner, ended up in the very unique position. OpenAI needed urgent funding to keep its lead, so Microsoft stepped in, offering over 13 billion, both in cash and, more importantly, in infrastructure, cloud server, data centers, and more. In return, Microsoft got exclusive access to the GPT-3 models, and the most importantly, full integration of OpenAI into the Azure ecosystem. Every ChatGPT API request then and now goes through Microsoft Cloud. Every business integration now runs on Azure. Today, in the enterprise spaces, OpenAI basically speaks with a Microsoft voice. For Nadella, it wasn't just an investment, it was a distribution takeover. He built AI into Microsoft products, Office, Windows, Bing, Teams. Now, millions of people around the world using ChatGPT every day without even realizing it. Nadella's bet is simple: not to own the smartest model directly, but to own the channel through which everyone uses it. And he is not holding back. Microsoft AI CapEx for fiscal year in 2025 is around 80 billion. CapEx means capital spreading, building data centers, buying servers, cooling system, power station, fiber, land, buildings. Unlike Huang, 100 billion over several years promises to supply GPUs to OpenAI, this is 80 billion in one single year, going into the real physical infrastructure that AI runs on. And on top of that, Nadella is building data centers all over the world. A clear bet on controlling the infrastructure that delivers AI to every country. because the closer the server to its user, the better and the faster experience. That's his play. The third card, data and audience. If someone has all the world's data, they've got the biggest advantage. And in that sense, the strongest card belongs to Meta. Mark Zuckerberg played the game differently. While other companies keep their models locked behind paid APIs and corporate walls, Meta did the opposite. They opened them up. Their Lava models were released as the open source and quickly become some of the most popular in the world. At first, it looks crazy. Why give away the results of multi-billion-dollar investments for free? But in the reality, it's a smart strategic move. The open source approach turned thousands of independent developers around the world into Meta's alias. It let them improve Meta technology without Meta spending a cent. Meta does not just get the users, it gets the army of enthusiasts who test, who optimize, and expand its ecosystem every day. Now, at the second part of their card, data. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, that's 3 billion active users, and not just an audience. It's a massive living test ground when AI learns to understand language, emotion, and human behavior. Every message, like, photo is potential piece of data that can be used to train and to test models. No one else in the world has that kind of organic, real-time feedback from the humanity. And at the same time, such a huge market of distribution, except maybe Elon Musk with X. But we will get to him later. Think about it. In the long run, the winners might not be smartest model, but the most widespread one. And Zuckerberg is doing everything to make Llama the Android of AI world. Free, flexible, and everywhere. The fourth card, science and fundamental research. If anyone can truly understand how intelligence works, it's Google DeepMind. Their strength isn't just that they operate independently or have the world's most popular search engine. Their real advantage is deep science. Demis Hassabis, the founder of DeepMind, is the former chess prodigy, one of the brightest minds in the industry. With him, Google became the most self-sufficient player in AI. They have everything, from chips to data, from algorithms to global infrastructure. Their own TPU processors, their own search database, their own data centers, and the most importantly, research culture when science leads, not business. Their system AlphaGo was the first in the history to build the world's champion in Go, a game once thought too complex even for supercomputers. Then came AlphaFold, a program that solved a biological problem scientists had been struggling with for 50 years, predicting protein structure. Moments like this are literally rewrite textbooks. And after Google merged the British company DeepMind with its own lab Google Brain, creating a single research center Google DeepMind, results followed it fast. They introduced the Gemini, series of models designed to catch up and surpass GPT. Google is moving slower than OpenAI, but probably only because they want to make AI truly powerful before scaling it up. And Google has another advantage people rarely mention: scale of deployment. Once Gemini is ready, it won't appear in separate app. It will be in a search, like it's already, Gmail, Docs, Android basically, in every modern people use. And that, it seems, their main bet. The fifth card, energy. Every revolution eventually runs into resource limit. For AI revolution, that resources is electricity. AI hardware consumes power on the industrial scale. Training a single large model takes as much energy as the hundreds of thousands of homes use in 1 year. And that's just training. AI also needs to stay online constantly, serving millions of users. According to the latest data, 800 million people use ChatGPT every week. And Sam Altman, it seems, wants to become the owner of the power socket. He's building Stargate, the largest AI infrastructure project in the history. And of course, it will need energy. A lot of energy. Just one of these clusters will consume as much power as the entire city of New York. And that's why Altman is betting on a new energy source, the kind that used to sound like a science fiction. He's been steadily investing in Helion Energy, a startup developing nuclear fusion, an attempt to create mini-sun here on Earth. It's been a dream of physicists for 50 years. Clean, practically endless energy with no waste. And if Helion succeed, OpenAI will have unlimited power source for its superintelligence. At the same time, Altman is founding Oklo, a company building compact nuclear reactors, the size of shipping containers. They run on recycled fuel, don't need refueling for years, and can power a data center right on the site. Mini nuclear plants of the new generation that can be installed where houses used to stand. Altman was the chairman of Oklo's board until April this year, but stepped down. Apparently to avoid conflict of interest, claims when those reactors start being supplier for OpenAI's needs. All of these attempts to solve the biggest problem of the AI era, the energy shortage. And if Altman's bet works, he will become one of the most powerful people of the planet. Of course, it's not guaranteed that all of this project will succeed. Helion might not reach stable fusion and Oklo might fail to get licensed. But the very fact that the AI developers are already thinking about building nuclear reactors show just how massive this whole thing has become. The sixth card, trust. With technology becomes too powerful, the main question shifts to one thing: can we trust it? And this one is where Anthropic and Dario Amodei play their role. Their main product is Claude model, and their core idea is constitutional AI. A model trained not only on data, but also on the set of ethical principles, a kind of internal constitution. That approach turns out to be extremely valuable. Corporates, banks, the government's agencies, everyone is worrying about reputation risk and go to Anthropic for one thing: reliability. Claude is less likely to give toxic or controversial answers, explain its reasoning more clearly, and it's generally seen a more calmer, more predictable assistant. Anthropic is not trying to outscale GPT. They are betting on the trust. And in the world where talks about AI regulation and the red lines grows louder, those who can build safe, responsible system will be ones allowed to work with the governments and the biggest corporations. If AI ends up being heavily regulated by governments and the laws, Dario Amodei from Anthropic has every chance to win. It's not most likely scenario and it's not the strongest card, but the bet is made. The seventh card, ideas. While other holds money, chips, data centers, Ilya Sutskever has something less tangible, but just as powerful, an idea. He was one of the original founders of OpenAI, alongside Sam Altman and yes, Elon Musk, who later became one of the OpenAI's biggest critics. Sutskever was OpenAI chief scientist until November 2023. A student of Geoffrey Hinton, one of the people who helped usher the world into GPT era. Now he's starting a new lab with a name that sounds like a manifesto: Safe Superintelligence. According to him, the lab's first product will immediately be a superintelligence, a mind that surpasses the human intelligence. Safe superintelligence isn't a startup in the usual sense. The employees aren't allowed to list the companies on their LinkedIn profiles. They have no products, no APIs, no subscription. They don't make money. And yet, investors lined up to fund it. Sutskever raised $2 billion in the very first round without a product. It makes you wonder what exactly he showed at the presentations to inspire such a faith and such a huge bets. But there is some clue. Sutskever's idea is both simple and radical. He's mentioned in his rare public talks, he does not believe that we can reach the superintelligence just by making models bigger. At some point, scale stops working. What needed is the new thinking. He's not building another GPT. He is rethinking the very logic of how intelligence works and evolves. In his view, AI should become an agent, one that sets its own goals, tests hypotheses, searches for data, and learns not because someone told it to, but because it's curious. He wants machine not just to answer, but to think about how they think. Superintelligence is the attempt to create a system that can rebuild itself, generate its own knowledge, and still remain under control. It's both terrifying and fascinating. Oh, the 8 card. Or rather, not a card at all, but a joker. In every game, has to be someone who breaks the rules. And in the AI race, that joker is Elon Musk. XAI isn't just another startup, it's the Musk personal bet against OpenAI. He openly accused Sam Altman of betraying OpenAI's original mission of openness and turning it into the tool for Microsoft. Musk says he's building an AI that will be honest and free from censorship. In record time, XAI built one of the largest computing clusters in the world, Colossus, with hundreds of thousands of GPUs. On it, they trained the model Grok. Grok is integrated directly into the social network X, and it learns in real time from the live news, memes, and users' reaction. That's why Grok understands current trends better than anyone else. And it gives Musk something no one else has, the most up-to-up data. Right now, X is the one of the few platforms where the world's scientists, cultural, and politician conversations happens. Other models have already been fed the entire internet, but Elon Musk has its own, constantly updating data stream. But that's not all. Musk integrated Grok in the Polymarket platform, a prediction market in real-world events. People bet on elections, on economy, sports, forming a collective forecast, often called a wisdom of the crowd. Grok can use this data, monitor X, and make its own predictions, explaining its reasoning behind them. It's a merging of two worlds, human intuitions and the AI calculations. And together, that could become an incredibly powerful predictional tool. Musk's bigger plan is to unify all his assets into the single ecosystem. Grok connects to Tesla cars, to robots. Starlink satellite will transfer data at the high speed, and in the future, we might even see the direct link between humans and AI through Neuralink. One of the Musk's key ideas, which he's repeated many times, is to not lose to AI, humans must merge with it physically. And if anyone can figure it out how to make that happen, it's him. Musk is the variable that you cannot calculate. He can break the game, make a crazy move, pour billions into something others call impossible. And sometimes that's exactly what works. It's already happened with his space program. His trump card, unpredictability. And of course, money, like Batman's. This combination of his works could flip the entire game, because the Joker, as we know, can beat any card. In any game, the most interesting part isn't just a card, it's the price. And in a game called artificial intelligence, the price is everything. Whoever creates true AI first won't just get money or the fame, they will get power over the company, over technology, essentially over humanity's future. The International Monetary Fund has already said it clearly. Countries that adopt AI faster will grow faster than the rest. And the gap between smart and lagging economies will soon become irreversible. Because on the AI frontier, there is only one simple rule: more data, more computation, more intelligence. Then comes what economists call the data network effect. The more users your platform has, the more faster it grows. Every search, every chat request, every interaction feeds back into ecosystem, improving the model. And the better model becomes, the more users it attracts. A closest loop. That's why AI is an ecosystem where the winners take it all. And here's another key point: resources. AI consumes electricity and silicon on the industrial scale. Today, data centers already use up 20% of the world's electricity, and soon they could be consuming almost half. Training a single large model takes as much energy as the entire city uses in 1 year. That's why every major player is not just building AI, they're building power plants, laying fiber, buying up lands for data centers. AI has become the new energy industry, and whoever wins will control it. And finally, politics. Every technological revolution creates a new standard, and whoever set these standards first ends up writing the rules for everyone else. That's what happened with the internet protocols, mobile systems, social networks. Now it's happening with the AI. And whoever builds the first truly general intelligence won't just lead the market. They will become the architect of the future infrastructure. And you can win this game only once. So all of the cards are on the table. The bets are made. So who is the most powerful person on the world of artificial intelligence? Who could become the most powerful person on the planet? Huang with his chips. Nadella, who controls the infrastructure of the entire market. Zuckerberg, who gave his models away to the world. Hassabis with his scientific approach. Altman with a GPT and nuclear fusion bets. The mysterious Ilya Sutskever or Elon Musk. The answer, honestly, isn't that obvious. Or maybe the most powerful person in the world of artificial intelligence won't be a person at all. Let's talk about it. Who would you bet on?